As 2025 draws to a close, I can't remember the country ever being gloomier. People are getting poorer, more people are becoming unemployed, inflation is proving sticky, and our debt is running completely out of control with a chancellor who doesn't seem to have a clue what she's doing. Worse than that, people are frightened now to walk down the street wearing a watch, wearing jewellery. Oh, and by the way, if you say anything rude on Facebook, you may well get a knock at the door. Well, I've come here today to Greenwich to have a think about what this country used to be, what it represented, and what it can become. Because, of course, Greenwich was here at the very height of Britain's naval power. And that wasn't just about winning the Battle of Trafalgar. It wasn't just about building the biggest empire the world had ever seen. It was also about a Royal Navy that spent decades at huge cost driving slavery off the high seas. We have an enormous amount of our past to be proud of, and yet our education system under both of the last governments now teaches our kids to be ashamed of the past. Well, the first thing a reform government will do is make sure kids are taught correctly about our history. But if you look behind these magnificent buildings, you see Canary Wharf, you see the 21st century, and not just traditional stocks and shares and bonds, but there's a whole new world developing. A world of cryptocurrencies, a world of AI, a world of digital assets. And neither the Conservative nor Labour parties seem to even understand this world in any way at all. Let me promise you that we do. These are the technologies of growth as we head forward in this century. But none of it can be done unless we produce our own energy, lots of it, and at cheap rates. And because of fanatical net zero policies, we're literally being left behind. 1 in 7 of you own a digital asset of some kind, yet the government, the authorities, simply don't seem to care. And that's the point. We need change in this country, real change in this country. And if we go on voting for the same old parties, I promise you, nothing will change. Think just in the last few days of the El Fatah case. Here's a guy that's come out of Egypt, come back to Britain, who's put out just the most abominable, hateful tweets about killing Jews, killing white people, fighting the police. And this man was given citizenship by the Conservative Party and welcomed back into Britain by the Labour Party. Frankly, there is little to choose between the two. We're the people offering hope. We're the people offering change. And 2025 showed you, with those county elections, which we won comfortably, what we are capable of. As we look forward to 2026, we have a massive set of elections. The whole of Scotland, the whole of Wales, all 32 London boroughs, county elections, thousands of council seats all over the country. And yet what are we now seeing? We're seeing a Labour government saying to those councils, if you want to cancel the elections, in some cases for the second year in a row, you can do so. And already, East and West Sussex, controlled by the Conservatives, have said, thank you very much, we'll cancel the elections. That is the kind of authoritarian country that we are now living in. They're even beginning to take away our right to vote. Well, they'll cancel some, but most of those elections will go ahead. They will be the single most important set of elections between now and the next general election. I'll make this prediction. If Reform win those elections, if we come top, it'll put us way ahead of the other parties. Already we've led for 175 opinion polls in a row. Our average lead is 10%. If we get this right on May the 7th this year, we will go on and win that general election. We will then absolutely have a chance of genuinely, fundamentally changing the whole system of government in Britain. We may well be the last chance this country has to actually restore some proper values, those of family, community, country, the ones upon which I based this party when I founded it in the very beginning. But we cannot do this without you, and you will not get the change you want without us. So let me ask you one thing. Please make it your New Year's resolution to do something. Support Reform, join Reform, go out and spread the message that we are the party of hope, we are the party of change, and we are genuinely the last chance for Britain.
This interruption is brought to you by ExpressVPN and their New Year deal. New Year, new VPN, and a huge saving of up to 80% if you act now. You're busy planning how to get in shape, but the hackers are planning how to get into your accounts. ExpressVPN locks down your connection so you can start the year protecting your data. This offer ends on the 7th of January, so scan the QR code or click the link in the description now.
That's Nigel Farage's New Year message. Charlie Rowley is in the studio with us this morning to commentate on this, and you'll have to commentate on a few others because they're all at it. Everybody, they all seem to think we're interested in what they're saying. However, I don't think Farage is far off the mark there. He's saying the country has never been gloomier.
No, I think that's absolutely right. And if you look to stories that you've all been talking about throughout the year, whether it's about the increase in the number of people that are coming into the country illegally, whether it's about the crime that seems to have gone up, whether it seems to be waiting lists not coming down. You talked to the top about those packed A&E setups. It's pointless getting an ambulance to A&E if they're going to be packed with people that are hiccuping or coughing or wheezing and doing something that they shouldn't be. So the idea of hope and change, which is also his message. Change being a very, very key word, because that was the word that Keir Starmer used no end during the 2024 general election campaign. So, and the country certainly got change, but has it been the change that we all wanted? I don't think that's probably the case, which is why Nigel's tapping in on something, as you say, to making sure that we can...
I think Farage has very much got his finger on the pulse there with what he's had to say. But as I say, they're all at it. And you're now going to hear from Sir Ed Davey. He's the Lib Dem leader. And this is his part of his New Year message. So have a look and a listen at this.
Protecting our environment, fixing the NHS and social care, these are our battles. As well as standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, taking the fight to Nigel Farage and winning. And we can win again in 2026 in Scotland, Wales and across England to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain and change our country for the better. So, from all of us at the Liberal Democrats, I hope you have a happy and hopeful new year. Let's make it a good one.
I'm not sure I'm happy or hopeful after listening to that, but...
He's your MP, isn't he?
No idea.
It's so relevant in your life.
No, it is. I mean, I don't vote. I mean, I don't think I can really do this job and then say somewhere, well, I have actually voted for him or her or whatever it happens to be. So I'd rather just stay above it, not vote for any of them. But anyway, what do you think of Ed Davey? And is anybody interested in what Ed Davey has to say?
Well, it's first of all interesting to see him deliver that message just in front of the Thames. I'm surprised not to see him in the Thames in a paddle suit. You remember he comes out with all these kinds of things during election campaigns in a wetsuit and all the rest of it. He was wearing. Well, that's enough to send people to A&E in itself, I think, having seen that. But I think you're right. No one is really going to be paying attention to a leader of a party who, no disrespect to him, it's just a fact, he's about fourth in the polls. So the idea that that's going to rejuvenate the country or people are going to take much of an interest, I think people are fed up of politicians saying what they're going to do. They just want them to get on and do the job.
Charlie, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, I'm a great believer in that. Stop telling me and stop lying to me, because that's what you are. You know this is not going to happen. Tell me something that is going to happen that you can change. And if it's not the politician's fault, it's the system's fault. I mean, I just think the system gets in the way and stops everybody doing anything.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And there are far too many stories, whether it's the case of this chap that's got Egyptian dual citizenship, where the civil service didn't tell ministers about his tweets of the past. Well, hang about, who are we blaming here? Is it the system? Is it politicians that should have known better? It was quite easy to find his tweets from journalists and others. So, that's just one case in point, but you're right, where there is waiting lists here, where the economy isn't growing, who's to blame? The system seems to be stuck in its same old ways, which is why when you have somebody like Nigel Farage that comes along to say, I'm going to set up a Doge unit, so I'm actually going to get under the bonnet of local councils, the councils that he controls as Reform UK, and we're going to cut costs, we're going to save the taxpayer money. That's something that's a little bit exciting, and people might want to see that rolled out on a national level.
Let's see if it's any more exciting in Scotland. Here's the First Minister there, John Swinney.
Our public services, our charities and community groups, volunteers, families and friends, we are all here for each other. The holidays are the perfect time to reach out to those around us, to ring up an old friend or check on a neighbour, as Robert Burns said, to tack a cup of kindness so that we all come a little closer together. These are the things that make an area into a community. These are the things that make Scotland, Scotland.
Do they, Charlie? Make Scotland, Scotland? These, I forget.
Sorry.
You can't hear.
Yeah.
You can't hear. But anyway.
But the SNP, I mean, whatever John was saying, the SNP have got a mountain to climb, having been quite high up in the polls, and Nicola Sturgeon was very good, I think, at trying to capitalise on things like independence again, perhaps during the COVID years. They've obviously taken a bit of a hit because of their leadership crisis since then, and they will have a mountain to climb if they're going to hold on to Scotland in their Holyrood elections that are coming up this year.
Charlie, we'll cross back and forward to you throughout the programme. For the moment, thank you very much indeed. Charlie's had his say, you have your say.
Yeah, absolutely. gbnews.com/your say.